everybody's attention, please. We're going to go ahead and get this started. You turn it up a little bit? Yeah. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Happy to be here. A big celebration of your first year.
Amen, brother. Amen. I can't take any credit for it.
I think you'll take all the credit.
I appreciate that. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to the unveiling of City Hall on this beautiful day of May 2nd, 2019 in the great city of Paducah, where I tell everybody we are on mission to be the best city in the world. And everybody in this room is helping us to get there. Everything you do, all the investments you make, all the activities you bring our way, everything you do for our community is making us the best city in the world. It is so exciting to be here today to have this unveiling with you, and it just tickles me to see everybody out here today. The time you've invested in the community, the prayers you make for the community, the services you provide is just a blessing. And when we had this thought about trying to celebrate what we're doing here today, and what a better way to do that than just to bring everybody together and just be mindful of our past, look forward to our future, and just celebrate together. My first time I seen City Hall was 10 months ago. Well, about 10 and a half months ago. I was driving by on 5th Street. My wife Kim and I in the car. I said, "Where's City Hall?" And she says, "I think it's right here." I looked over, I seen a beautiful park plaza to my right. I looked over and seen a black veil to my left. I said, "I don't think that's it." And she says, "No, that's what it says on the Google thingy," right? It said it was City Hall. And it was months later that I was able to actually get a peek from behind the veil of what stood there and to see the work that was done. And tonight we're going to celebrate that work and celebrate the people responsible for that work. But also we need to look back in the past and celebrate the vision that brought this to be. Because now when you walk up those front steps off of 5th Street and you come into this building, what a beautiful building. What a majestic building. And this is ours. This belongs to Paducah. This is ours. And I'm so proud of it. I know you are too, otherwise you would not be here today. As we get started, we want to recognize our dignitaries, if you will, our elected officials now, our former elected officials. So our elected officials here today, we have Commissioner McElroy. He's over there. I've seen Mayor Harless right behind me here. And Commissioner Abraham, is he here? Not yet, but I'm sure he's coming. Commissioner Watkins, right there. Commissioner Wilson is actually in Washington, D.C. at a Department of Energy function, so she's representing the city well. And I also see former commissioners that are here. I've seen former Commissioner Alan Rhodes right back there. Raise your hand, Alan. He was involved with this, the renovation of this facility. And prior to that, I do know we also have other members that have a past here that served as mayor or commissioners. If you were here present, would you raise your hand to be recognized? Former commissioner, there you go. Back in 1965, when this building was put in operation, right there. Anybody else in the audience? How about a round of applause for our public servants? I'd also be remiss if I didn't point out our Team Paducah members that are here. If you're an employee of the city, a member of the leadership team, would you raise your hand and be recognized? All right, have a round of applause. Commissioner Wilson keeps reminding us, and I keep emphasizing it as well, 2019 is the year of celebration, and we've been celebrating all year long, whether that's with the creation of the new TIF we did a few weeks ago, tonight's event as well, but also a celebration. It's a time for us to be thankful. At this time also, I want to say my thanks to Melinda Winchester, who's back behind me here as well, who was critical in this historic renovation project. I also want to send a big shout out to Rick Murphy, our Director of Public Works City Engineer, and Megan Mansfield, there she is, for the work they did as the project managers for this beautiful building. I also want to send a big thank you out to the elected officials who made the decision to do this. I think back about that, and I know that it was a hard decision to do. There was the debate, do you build new? Do you come in and just redo the whole thing? Or do you come in and do a historical preservation project? And I'm going to give them a big thank you for doing the historical preservation project. Now, Edward Durrell Stone, the architect who did this, was a visionary. Of course, this project started back in the 1960s, 1963, wrapped up in 1965. At that time, he was a leader in architecture and was doing things that were somewhat on the edge. And if, I tell you what, if that doesn't define Paducah, what doesn't? We are on the edge. We try to be the tip of the spear and continue to make progress and move forward. But we reached out to a part of Mr. Stone's family, his son, Hicks Stone, who's also an architect. We reached out to talk to him about this legacy, and to see, we've actually invited him here tonight, but he's actually doing work in Wisconsin, was unable to attend. But he did make this following comment I want to share with you tonight. From Hicks Stone, in reference to the celebration of City Hall, I am grateful for the work that you and Paducah have done to restore Dad's building. I like that, Dad's building. Thanks very much for that, for honoring Dad's work. He was ahead of his time in many ways and was misunderstood by many. I'm pleased that Paducah values his building. How about a round of applause for that? Now I'm going to turn it over to Melinda Winchester for a few comments. Melinda?
You make me cry right before I talk. I really didn't think this day would come. I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate the preservation of our City Hall building. I'm really going to try not to cry. I get kind of passionate about this stuff. In 1963, our city really wanted to make a statement that we were progressive and we were forward-thinking. And so we built this structure, and we commissioned one of the most progressive, controversial architects of the time to do it. Now, today, in 2019, I feel like our city's making a new statement. We're making a statement that these historically significant buildings are important to us here in Paducah, and it's important that we preserve our heritage in this way. When all the conversations started years ago, a few years, 3-4 years ago, about do we tear it down, do we save it, do we build new, I advocated behind the scenes, specifically to Steve Irvin. I probably drove him a little crazy, if you all know Steve, to save this building. Historic preservation is my background, and I tried to just explain to him this building is so significant that Paducah would have this type of building from this architect right here in our city, and we need to build on that. And then our community came forward, and they had this whole rally and asked the commission, please take a look at this again, look at your numbers, consider saving this building that's so important to us. And that's what they did. They did it. And now in 2019-18, our current administration, engineering, our current commission did the hard part. They did the restoration of it, and that's the hard part, and it's beautiful. And I can't believe it when I walk in here and I see this building like this and back to its glory. The preserving our historic buildings is a one-way street. Once they are gone, you cannot go back. A part of your past, your culture, it's lost forever. But Paducah City Hall is going to continue telling its story for all of our future generations. So I just want to say thank you to everybody here.
to hear more from Melinda, you can come tonight at the library at 7 o'clock. She's going to be putting on a session over there, and I invite all of you to come out too. I don't know if we'll have enough room for everybody, but we'll gladly try to fit you in, right? But tonight at 7 o'clock for a session on the history of the architect who made City Hall. Next, we have Rick Murphy, our Public Works Director, City Engineer.
Sometimes when I think about projects, I think about trying to write things down. And when I write them down, it just doesn't come from where I live, and that's out of my heart. And projects have a beginning, and Melinda shared with us the beginning of the project and the struggles of what do we do? Well, as engineers, you know, we like to plow through, clean up, and build new. And I happen to be one on the other side on that because we're thinking about efficiency. And I want to thank Melinda, and I want to thank the community for helping us see a bigger vision and not necessarily plow through and build new, because what? That's easier. This is more difficult. So, every project has a beginning, but then you have a middle. And the middle comes from the people who, there's the dreamers and there's the doers. The doers happen to be the engineers, the design team, those that I want to thank today, those being Markham Engineering. We have representatives here from Markham, I think Bacchus and BFW. We have Mark Workman in here. They have to design it before the contractor can build it or before they can even give us an estimate on what it is. So in that spirit, we have A&K Construction to thank for that. They were the awarded contractor for this and did an outstanding job with a project that is not easy to do. I think anytime you work on something that's existing, it's much more difficult to work on something that's new. So there's unpredictables that are within those projects. So I want to thank both the design team of Markham and BFW and also our construction team of A&K Construction, who's done a wonderful job. Also, I want to thank Mark Mangrum and Justin Hopkins. Mark was the superintendent on this job that managed to maintain harmony. Okay? Harmony. We all live in our houses. Okay? What's the worst rooms to remodel in your house? The kitchen and the bathroom. Okay? We have a house full of kitchens and bathrooms in this that weren't touched at all. However, when you occupy a building and you try to remodel a project like this, you have to get along. So we are all suffering. I don't know if any of y'all have ever done this before. I haven't, but I can only imagine it. Putting your head in a trash can and beating it with a stick. Okay, how loud that is, okay? Well, I want to thank the employees of City Hall because they had to endure a lot with all the jackhammering and all the things going on, but we saved a lot of money by doing that. So, again, thank you to everyone, and there's one person I'm not going to leave out, Miss Megan Mansfield, tall lady back here in the back, wearing the pink. She actually was the one that was taking the brunt of all the coordination and I'm not happy and all those other things. So let's give Megan a big hand for keeping everybody up. I'd also like to thank our staff who worked very hard on this. Work continues on. This is an ongoing project. We're working in the interior. So some of the things you see, some remodeling is still going on. We'll do some work in the steps, but outside, she's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And now I have the wonderful honor to introduce to you our mayor, Mayor Brandy Harless.
Wow. Can you imagine what an honor it is to be standing here as the mayor of this city, bringing history back around full circle? It is such a privilege to have all of you here. I firmly believe that this is the people's building. This is the People's City Hall. This is your City Hall. This building should welcome you with open arms. You, as the citizens of Paducah, should feel honored and welcomed every time you step foot on that first step. And I hope that you felt that today when you came up to join us today. As I think about this moment, I really am going to flash back to 1962 and read Mayor Wilson's words to you. Because what a remarkable moment it would have been for our community to be standing in this building for the first time ever after having endured what it took to controversially choose Edward Durrell Stone as the architect, and then to get this community excited about building this building. So I'm going to start with some words actually that were written back in 2015. And several people have referenced controversy before the decision was made to renovate this building. And in 2015, there was a large, long conversation going on with the previous commission about whether to save this building or replace this building. And it actually caused a big stir in our community. Is anyone here that has been a part of the organization called Growth, Inc.? Anyone? Julie, Fowler? That organization, as you'll recall, was founded back in the 80s to protect Lowertown and to save the buildings that were on the docket to be demoed in Lowertown. Well, that organization resurrected itself when City Hall was also on the demo block. And I had the privilege at the time of joining them in begging the commission to keep this building and to take a common sense approach to what we needed to do. Along with that came some national attention. And there's a blog called Garden to Gable. A woman named Janie Rice Brother, who is a journalist, came to Paducah during that time and wrote a blog post about City Hall and how important it was. And I want to read that to you right now, a snippet from her blog post. Architecture is much more than just shelter. It teems with symbolism. One of the first principles I learned in graduate school was the power of a building and what messages the style, form, and materials convey about the owner or the user. During the Haiti Wars after World War II, the United States boomed, and an air of optimism and innovation filtered into many facets of everyday life, including design. Paducah, Kentucky embraced that palpable sense of possibility in 1962, declaring that a new, well-planned, well-designed City Hall will be a symbol of Paducah's economic resurgence. It will be an indication to citizens and visitors alike that something new is happening in Paducah. The psychological effects of such a new building, having good land use planning and architectural design, will be of considerable value in changing Paducah's image from that of just another Ohio river town to that of a community which has taken hold of its problems and is working toward their solution. That was a quote she found in the Paducah Sun during the days of the planning of this building. I'm going to finish with a statement from Mayor Wilson that I think you'll agree sounds like a statement from today. And this was actually something Melinda sent me from her application to put this building on the historic register. The story goes that Mayor Wilson was, and I think Bob was the one quoted in here, Bob Johnson, as telling this story, that Mayor Wilson liked to do his homework. And so he took a group of community leaders to, it says, over 50 places, interviewing mayors and commissioners and city managers across the country to decide what the best thing was for Paducah in their new city hall. He contacted the American City magazine, and I noticed that our city hall is on the cover of the American City magazine. Upstairs, you'll get to see that as you wander around. And when he commissioned Edward Durrell Stone, and on the day of the opening, here is what Mayor Wilson said. We believe that in Paducah, let me catch my place. We believe that we in Paducah are making progress in creating an interesting as well as a charming city. When visitors come here, we can show them many features that will please them. One of these is our City Hall. With our new City Hall, we have added an architectural jewel. It forms part of the work we plan to do, and it forms part of the work of the future. How perfect for right now in Paducah, Kentucky. Thank you all for being here, and I hope that you will take the time to walk around this entire building, especially that outdoor where we used to see those caution tapes for years and years and years. It is now safe for you to go out there. Thank you all so much for being here.
And now we're going to ask the mayor, Commissioner McElroy, Commissioner Watkins to go upstairs over here to this corner. We're going to do the ribbon unveiling, if you will. As they walk upstairs to prepare for this, we'll give some opportunity for photos as they're up there at the corner. But as the mayor indicated, once we get done with this, please stick around. Enjoy the festivities. We have live music that will start here as soon as we get done. We have the Dogwood Trail Awards to be coming out. We also have history, articles from the newspaper, photos of City Hall before and after. So just a lot to take in. We appreciate you guys being here. I think they're going that way now. We'll let them stand up there and hold that for a little bit. You guys can take some pictures.
Ready? Is it time?
We'll do a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let the music and the fun festivities begin. Thank you.
something. I'll kind of. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to honor our Dogwood Award winners. But at first, I have a lot of people to thank. First, I want to thank Tamara Tracy for letting us be a part of this. We are so delighted to present these awards on such an auspicious day. City Hall, 54 years, Dogwood Trail, 55 years. I just think it says so much about our community that we preserve our architecture and honor our traditions. And I think it really makes an impression that spreads worldwide that sometimes we don't even realize. And I'm actually going to tell you a little story that will sort of express that. Several years ago, my husband and I were in the Galapagos Islands on a ship. And on the first day, they asked us to all stand up, give our names, and tell where we're from. And so we did, and we said Paducah, Kentucky. And as soon as we said Paducah, a woman jumped up and raised her hand and said, I know Paducah. I go to the quilt show almost every year, and one year I even got to see the Dogwood Trail. She was from Australia. So I think that in some ways we can claim that the Dogwood Trail is an internationally renowned trail. I'd like to also, I want to tell about my team a little bit. Jackie Smith and Henry Barber were not able to be here tonight, and they're very crucial members of our team. And Carol Vanderboe is here. Carol, please step forward. Carol has made all of our dogwood pins through the years. We made them for the 50th. Carol made every single one and painted every single one. And since that time, she has made pins for all of the winners. And each year they change a little bit, so they're really, really special. And tonight she has a wonderful helper, Miss Charlotte Bray, who's going to help give out some of our awards. The next thing I want to do real quick is just say thank yous to all the different people who make this work. You know, the people of Paducah first, you're the ones that light up. You plant the trees. You do the work. We wouldn't have a trail without you. So thank you to all of you. And let's give everybody a big hand for that. But behind the scenes, there are a lot of people who are doing things that you don't have much knowledge of, which is probably good. But we have lots of people like Paducah Sun, who has published us for 55 years. They've never failed to put our information in the paper, and we're thrilled about that. I also want to thank WPSD, Bristol Broadcasting, WKYQ, and West Kentucky Star. And I need to thank Pam Spencer, our information officer, who does all of our social media work and website. Paul Aho with the Paducah School of Art and Design. His students are the judges for our art and photography contest. Les Evans with the Parks Department. Les and his team lights all the dogwoods on Broadway and the ones at Kyler Park. Brandy Topper has a team that puts out all of our Dogwood Trail signs and collects them. Mr. Boykin at Pat's makes sure that we have a trolley every year. And this year, Chris Yarborough did an outstanding job. I know it was pushing it. We were getting a little concerned, but they got all the debris up before the quilt show and the Dogwood Trail started. I also want to thank a couple of other people. Carolyn Ruth, who always writes about the Dogwood Trail just at Dogwood time. And Ro Morris, who is a timeless supporter of all things Paducah. And she has just been a wonderful motivator and inspiration for everybody on the Civic Beautification Board. She's no longer on our board, but behind the scenes, she's always working with us. So thank you, Ro. I'd also like to say thanks to the First Baptist Church, Grace Episcopal Church, and Independence Bank. They light up their dogwoods every single year, and it really means a lot, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to move on to awards. And pardon me, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm actually using my cell phone. We're going to start with the trail winners. And thank you so much, trail winners. We thought the Dogwoods were just stunning this year. And those of you who won awards really did an outstanding job. Our first winner is Dorothy Freeman. Thank you. Congratulations. Our next winner is Susan Tharp on Jefferson. All of the winners get a Dogwood pen, a photograph. Oh, okay. Maybe we'll get it. They get a photograph of their home that Paul Grumley has done our photographs, and they get a certificate that was designed and hand-painted by Carol Vanderboe. Our next winners are Ashley and Tommy Jones on Jefferson. Here they come. Thank you. Steve and Julie Dewperry. Steve, there they are. They had a glorious display. Next, Mark and Christy Meisenheimer. Mark and Christy live somewhat back off the road, but they made a special effort to have a little section of their drive lined with some dogwoods, and it's perfectly beautiful. Next in line, we've got Ann and Brian Boyd on Valley. Are the Boyds here? They may not be here. Lisa and Lindy Suter. Lisa and Lindy Suter. Our Off-Trail Awards, Mary Lee Evers on Washington. Is Mary Lee here? If you get an opportunity, drive by her house. It's so pretty. She had a lot of dogwoods lit. Next would be Marcia and Zach McMillan. Are they here? Here comes Zach. Wait for him. Here it comes. Want a picture too. Then we have David and Phyllis Stodler. Are they here? Not here. They're neighbors. I'll get theirs to them, or close by anyway. And last but not least, for our off-trail, we have John Park, who I did see earlier, so I know he's here. There he is. And John gets a special thanks from me because not only did he do a beautiful job of lighting and fixing up his yard, he went around and encouraged his neighbors to light up too. That's the best part. And I'd also like to recognize one other person who did the very same thing, and it was Laura Bray. She contacted all of her neighbors and asked them to please light up, and they did, so it was wonderful. Now our last award, and this is the first year we've ever given it, it's a door award. A lot of people don't always have lots of things to light up, so we thought a door is a fun thing to work on. But this person had dogwoods and a beautiful door, and it's Sandy Miles. Sandy here. Okay, that's okay. Thank y'all so much. It was a wonderful year. We hope we have as pretty a spring next year as we did this year. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, I've got to finish. I've got to do these, don't I? Okay. I'm going to take care of the art and photography as well. This is going to be photography, and first place goes to Martha McHaney. Martha McHaney. Right here. Okay. Second place in photography, Basil Drosos. And third place goes to Phyllis Russell. Is Phyllis here? take time to look at the art and photography in that corner. Some of the paintings and photographs are just gorgeous. Okay, thank you. Now for the paintings, for the art. First place is Diane Bay. There she comes. Thank you, Diane. Congratulations. Second is Jenny Fuller. Is Jenny here? Okay, we'll clap. And third place is Amy Williams. We'll get those to them. In art and photography, first place wins $100, second place is $50, and third is $25. And all of the trail winners also get a $50 certificate, or they get $50 cash. Thank y'all so much. It was a wonderful year, and we're hoping for an even better one next year. Thank you.
If you were an award winner, if you could, please line up over here. We're going to take photos of all the award winners tonight.